Hello, everyone. This is JD Calderon, and this is Indy Comics Explained. And today I brought on one, maybe two fantastic guests because we're a little short-handed, but it happens. You know, people out sick, others out partying. It's all good, you know. So here we go. But before we get to that, please hit like, hit subscribe, share out the video. Go check out. We're all right. Let me start over. We're gonna show off some campaigns or campaigns that we've ourselves have backed. Go check them out. Go check out the individual creators. So, but before we do that, I'm gonna bring on my my co-host and my guest. Dude, here's my co-host. What's up, Joe?
How's it going, everybody? I am Joe D. McPhee, president of C2C Studios, the curator of the From the Desk of the Small Press Publisher channel on YouTube, and I'm here today to help out JD.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. And our guest, Mr. Evan K. Posios.
Hi, guys. I'm Evan K. Posios. I'm the writer and co-creator of the Weird War tale Time Grunts, the supernatural gangster series Johnny Phantasm, and the upcoming thriller from Second Sight Studios called Silence.
Nice. All right, cool. So, just like I was saying, hold on. We got. I think Mr. Escavalos. Oh, there you go.
Sorry, I'm
What's
late.
up? That's all right. What's up, John? How you been?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. So, we're gonna I guess we'll start with Joe. We're gonna start off tonight before the questions. We're gonna start off with popping other people's comics, Kickstarters, Indiegogos, whatever you want, So, so Joe will start, and then we'll work our way through real quick.
All right. Yeah, because that was the notice that he gave, and I kind of misunderstood him because at first I pulled out some of my stuff that I had on Kickstarter, but we're going to start off first with Hilda and Richie by Max West. This is kind of like an all ages children's book here. He does a lot of children's books and all ages stuff, and this is a pretty good book. It's a short one, but it's a pretty good book that I wouldn't mind giving to like any kid here. And it's a simple tale about two foxes. One is the aunt to the other, and it's all about their love of chewing bubblegum. So it's a pretty decent story in that aspect here.
Real quick,
that one I actually read. I just haven't did the review of it as of yet here. The other one that I got is from Drim Publications, and it's called Plan 59 from Outer Space. And this one was a Kickstarter that I backed, a couple of months back, and I finally got it in the mail not too long ago, about like a couple of weeks back, and got all the postcards and everything, and one of the specialized covers for that particular sci-fi adventure here. I haven't read it yet, so I can't really tell you exactly what's going on. But
that's a
like
super sharp cover.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he was really trying to go old school retro 1950s sci-fi.
Yeah, that's awesome. Great stuff.
Yeah, and then we have another set of books here dealing with Robin Hood and the Legend of Sherwood. So this is like a small little graphic novel dealing with Robin Hood. A different telling of the legend of Robin Hood as a whole here. And it came with all of these extra art prints and everything to that magnitude.
Who's the creator on that?
This was, let me open it up again, because like I said, it's been a while since I actually really paid attention to everything on this. This is based on, let's see, we have Jeff Douglas Mezer and Robert Akers on this.
All right, cool. Yeah, that looks nice.
So this is Robin Hood, the Legend of Sherwood. So those are three that I had, and then, like I stated earlier, I pulled the two that I did last year, and I don't want to get stuck on that cover. I'll put it back together later. And then the two that I did here, I'm not going to pull out every last issue, but I did a Kickstarter campaign for Primetime Saturday Night number 0. This was a prequel issue to the original Primetime Saturday Night series that I did here, and it had 2 version covers for it. That was done once in February, and then followed up in April, and it actually funded in April. And then later on that year in 2020, I had the 10th anniversary of Amazonia number 1. And this is special because I actually reprinted the original Amazonia number 1 for this particular edition here. That was all out of print here. And we had different variant covers of that, including homage cover to the original issue number 1 and 2 version variants. That one, and I hate playing shuffling. There you go. So those are my 5.
Joe, have you been killing it in the crypto market or something? How are you affording all these books?
All of these different books. See, that's the thing. Everybody's up here, it's like they look at you got a lot of books and stuff. It's like, but I've been doing this piecemeal. My books I pay for all up front. So when I go out to crowdfund, I ask nothing for printing. But the books that I actually buy, these are books that I've been waiting for, 4, 5, 6, 7 months.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So it's very rare that I get back a campaign and they turn around real quick. And when they do turn around, I actually read the books and do a review here. Like the Robin Hood one, I waited a couple of months. At least that was like at least 4 or 5 months. The Max West, Hilda and Richie, that was only 2 months. So that's the reason why I read that and know what's actually going on in that one.
Gotcha.
And then the Plan 59 from Outer Space, I waited about 6 months for that one. So
not bad.
Yeah. It's better than waiting 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Or never.
Yeah, but that's the reason why I could afford it, because it's so spaced out in between. It's just like,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
$20 1 month, and then 6 months later I get a book. You're not going to miss it, as opposed to $60 in 1 month, and then all of a sudden you're getting like 12 books in the mail, and like, what I'm going to do with it? I don't have that much time.
Right.
Read fast. That's what I do. Read fast. So Evan, you got anything up?
I do. Actually, I'd like to plug something for a good friend of mine and my co-creator on Johnny Phantasm, Mr. Patrick Thomas Parnell. He did the artwork here on this Johnny Phantasm lunchbox. But yeah, Patrick is one of those guys who never got a chance. He has been grinding for years. He went to the Kubert School. He had a couple projects here and there with IDW, but really, never found, his niche. And I met him probably 5 years ago now. He was the colorist on Time Grunts. And I came up with this concept for a supernatural hitman, and he totally dug it. And I said, you know what, why don't you take a crack at illustrating? And his dream was, to become an illustrator. And, we've done extremely well with that series. And this is his first solo project on Indiegogo. And as you can see, he's doing extremely well with 12 days left. He's over 25 grand. But it's sort of a new take on the superhero genre. The gist of it is, what if the most powerful being on Earth decides to call it quits and no one can find him? And there are a lot of pluses here. That cover by Kenneth Rocafort is fantastic. There's a cool sort of Japanese variant cover that Patrick did right there of Ultra Girl. But, if you're someone out there who appreciates the hard work, the grind, but also want a quality book with a good story, that has some unique layouts and storytelling, you should definitely pick it up.
Yeah, it's a good looking book. I will be backing this in the next couple of days myself too.
Nice, thank you.
That is nice looking, yeah.
Thank you. He'll appreciate that.
Yeah, it's a good looking book. Nice.
He's got a few trading cards there. Yep.
All right, cool. John, you got anything to share?
Well, I got it mixed up, sort of like Joe did. I thought you were saying bring
You got
your
your
own
own.
stuff. So
No, that's fine. Go ahead and do it. If you got,
where is it?
there you go.
Road to Valhalla, first
Mhm.
issue. That was Kickstarted a few months back, and we did okay with it, and we're very pleased with how it did. We're in the process now. I would say we're closing in on a little halfway done with the pages, and we've got multiple covers. That if I had known, I would have brought a couple more, but for the next one. But we'll definitely be coming back for that. And the third issues I've written, and a lot of the thumbnails for pages are done. So yeah, it's really, the book is cooking along, and we had a few road bumps because, as you know, I kind of had written a 5-issue story and needed it to fit in 3 issues. So so that was a bit of an adjustment, but we got through it, and yeah, we're pretty happy with where we are. So as far as Kickstarter goes, though, I am following Liam Sharp's Encore book.
Okay.
And there's another one I stumbled upon, Lovecraft PI.
Oh,
Have you heard of that? So I'm gonna fund that one too. That's I don't get online as often as I'd like, so that's it so far anyway. And I'm trying to keep up with yours, JD. So
I know it's hard. I pull one out every other week. So
yeah, that's what Keith said. Yeah, he says, "Oh, there'll be another one. Don't worry if you miss one."
Exactly. It's like, it's coming. It's coming. All right, I got a few that I'll pop off. That is The Bean by Travis Hanson. Is a hardcover little book that he puts out of his stuff. It's all in color. These used to be in black and white. Now he's putting them out in color. So these are actually pretty cool. If you like, it's like, simple little fantasy adventure story, cool stuff. We got, this is issue 2 of Gage and the Dragon's Tear. And I got the first issue, and the guy Kellner, and then the artist, this guy is Donnie Hadi Jawa. That's the guy who did this piece for me here. So, and that's why I actually started buying these, because it was like his artwork, and I was like, okay, cool. So I got the first issue, I got this one, and the story is actually pretty good, which is the good part. I know he's coming out with a third one, so you might want to keep an eye out for that. I got Ballyscown. Dudes, that's Norn Doyle. I what's funny is I interviewed these 2 guys that I bought their book. This book is interesting because it has like a virtual reality feature that you go into an app, and then you can look at the page, and like the page moves and it does all this weird stuff. So it's actually a pretty funky book.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And then this is Crescent City Magic by Michael L. Peters. These are available on Amazon. So you go straight to Amazon.com, and this book is available. The first issue is available. This is volume 2. They're $20 a pop. If you got Amazon Prime, free shipping. If you like black and white pen and ink stuff, I mean, this guy does really, really nice stuff.
That's really nice looking, yeah.
Yeah, if you're into that sort of thing, because I know not everybody is. They're like, what? There's no color. Growing up in the '80s with independent comics, it was all black and white, so you kind of got used to it. All right.
Yeah, I love black and white stuff.
Yeah,
for sure.
And then, last but not least, this is The Continuum by Continuum Comics. This has stuff by Meredith Longren. Awesome creator. I think Nita's husband is in here. C. Michael Landing is in here. Or we should know him as Mr. Nita. There you go. But this is a really cool book. I just got this one, so that's cool. And then, just to let everybody know what's going to be on my next Kickstarter, or one of the things, I got this little enamel pin made.
I saw that.
Yeah, I saw it on Instagram. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
very cool.
Yeah. Thank you. So I thought, just gonna put all that stuff on the side. So I thought that was something I always wanted to do. Now you got to get my damn bronze coin.
Yeah, that Lovecraft PI guy does a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
coins and pins and stuff.
Yeah, they're not expensive, like they're not ridiculously expensive, right? But I always feel like it's money I'm taking away from something else, like from some artwork.
Yeah.
So it's like, but if you sell enough of them, you'll make back your money and then some.
Yeah, we've done really really well with the poker chips. They're sort of like an underground hit now collectible, and people trading them and whatnot, looking to see what's next.
No, I love the poker chips. I have them. I literally sit them next to my TV set while I'm watching TV. I'm sitting there shuffling them.
Yeah, they got the real click from the casino.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm sitting there shuffling them as I'm watching TV. So those things are awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, so I guess we could just get on to our regular programming.
What's that?
Yeah.
Questions. So we're all creators, we're all writers, right? So let me ask you guys this: when you're creating a book, you're creating a story, whatever it is, do you ever consider your audience in that process, right? And if you do, why? We'll start with our co-host Joe.
It depends on the book, to be quite honest, because with Primetime Saturday Night, I have to, because Primetime Saturday Night, I have to think wrestling audience, because I put on a actual televised wrestling match from top to bottom, a whole stacked card for each issue, which is normally 50-something pages. So I have to think, what is a great storyline to keep my wrestling audience interested in the characters and everything to that magnitude. So yes, in that book I have to. With Amazonia, sometimes no, I don't. I just tell the story as I go along here. I have to think about what is best for that franchise and that story. With other stuff that I write, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It really depends on, am I really trying to teach somebody something new or highlight something historic, or am I just writing something just to be writing something?
Gotcha.
But I do know for Primetime Saturday Night, I do have to take into consideration of the audience and the characters that are involved and make those storylines pop a certain way to keep them interested.
All right, cool. Evan, do you consider your audience when you write?
I do, but I would say that my audience is myself. I try to write, things that I love or enjoy or know, and then try and bring in some sort of emotional connection of, something that I'm either dealing with at the time or something I've dealt with in the past. And I think, whether it's a success or a failure, it's something that's true, and it's me, and, hopefully some people vibe with it then.
All right, cool.
Well, it's very good answers. I kind of feel the same way. I don't tend to think much about an audience as much as I'm mostly just trying to get something honest and true out of myself into the story. Usually that's where it starts, is where I have this this pain almost to get it out. You have something, you want to get it out, and so I'll write the story, and then I'll write the action, and then kind of twist it around into writing the rest of the story around that action that was, that won't leave me alone. And then once I get through the action itself, then I'm, adding to it to get the reader there. Right. But honestly, I never thought much, about anybody who was reading either any of my rock stories or my comic stories or short stories. I never thought much about it until I took Amy Chu's class not too long ago. To be honest, I learned an awful lot about writing comics in that class over the last year or so.
All right, cool. We have to talk about that in a minute. But for myself, I write for myself, and then I just share it with everyone, and just hope, there are other people of like minds, that enjoy it, because the only time I've ever found where I've had to think about my audience is when I was doing commercial work.
Sure.
And that's the only time, I ever really had to think about it, because I was like, okay, I have to stay true to the characters that I was writing. So at the time it was like Tenchi Muyu and that sort of thing. So it was like anime characters. So I had to stay true to those characters. and I just made it a point to do that. Yeah, you know, it worked out. All right, cool. All right, Mr. Joe, you're up.
Yeah, to piggyback off of your question here, the reason why you guys kind of write for self, is it more because of the type of genre that you more comfortable in writing in, or what you're currently selling, the genre that you're currently selling in, as opposed to like a genre like I mentioned that I write pro wrestling, but sometimes you have to think about that audience in that aspect to say, is this a good enough match to present to them in a book format? You know, outside of that, it's like when I write superhero book or write like Amazonia, I'm like you guys, I don't think about it. It's a second thought, but I see it as maybe it's something about a genre type thing, as opposed to like what JD says, like when he was doing commercial work and writing somebody else's character, which you do have to think about the audience when you're writing somebody else's character. So it's mainly because of your genre that you're writing in, as opposed to anything else.
Well, I think, you know, with horror, you have to sort of script in a way that you're sneaking up on your reader. You initially need to make them relate to your characters, put them in a world that they can identify, and then twist it in some weird, disgusting way that shocks them. So in that sense, you know, you have to be a little bit more careful than, say, whether you're writing, you know, fantasy or action. And it can be tricky. You know, you'd hate to go through a full script and, you know, see thumbnails and be like, oh, wait, this doesn't work. So you really need to be ahead of the game. And, you know, I like to lay out, you know, the artwork ahead of time, you know, whether it just be stick figure art and then script from there, knowing that, okay, this visually works.
We do a lot of that stick figure stuff, trying to make sure the page looks the way we want it to. You kind of, yeah, good practice, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the question?
Yeah.
It was about genre, right?
Are you pretty much writing for yourself because of the genre that you're writing in, as opposed to like, for example, like Evan said, when he writes horror, he actually thinks about the audience because he has to approach it from the reader's point of view.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, JD, sorry about that.
No, John, you're first.
I don't yeah, I don't know. I think it's the same thing for any story I write, any genre that I'm working on. I have to have that that need to do it, you know, whether it's somebody paying me to do it, or whether it's just, you know, an idea that rolls into my head from something I read somewhere else, you know, something from a newspaper article, or you know, some other story, some other genre story. Yeah, I think I can see though where, you know, especially what you were saying, Evan, about a horror thing. There are certain steps, certain boxes. If you don't tick, the horror story doesn't work. You know,
Right?
Makes sense.
Yeah,
but I'm not sure I can ever get myself into the position where I start there. You know, I start where I am, and then you know, if I'm getting paid to write a horror story, well, I'll sneak into the horror story with what I've got, you know, as opposed, you know, that's just the only way I know how to do it, though. It's not, you know, I think if you have a more disciplined and set formula that works for you, that's awesome. You know, that's what all those how to write books are about, right? You get your hands on one some of those, and next thing you know, oh, I get it. Hopefully, anyway.
Yeah, I know for myself. I mean, for me, it's like plot and character, right? So those are the things I'm writing to. Is, you know, I establish character, and then I write to plot, right? And then, you know, you have, you know, all the interactions that are going between. So yeah, so I think that's where I come from. Not so much like genre is just like a window dressing. You know what I mean? Because
I get it from that aspect. Yeah.
Most great stories, it doesn't matter what the window dressing is. If it's a great story, it could work in just about any genre. That's why, like, what is that? Magnificent Seven goes from it's what is it? It's
from the samurai to the western.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly, and then they've also done it as a space story. So it translates to all these different things, you know. So yeah, just like King Lear. How many times have we seen King Lear? They did Kurosawa did it in Japanese. He did it as a samurai thing, and then we've seen it over again in American movies, and we've seen it as its original form. You know, so great story will translate to anything. Genre kind of just trappings. You know, there's certain ones that you need those trappings for it to work, like zombies. You know, it's like zombies, but whatever.
How do you kill the zombie?
Right. It's always that. I guess it would be fun to throw King Lear in there and just with the zombies. You know, you can mess with it. You know, but yeah, but that's what it is for me. It's just I focus on plot, character, and then you know that other stuff is window dressing for me as far as genre. So you know, it's probably got some young writer out there going, "What the fuck?"
I'm sure.
No, you kind of made me think. It's like, could Night of the Living Dead work with robots?
Right. Exactly.
I think it could.
Living Dead robots. There you go.
Right.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Well, I think it was the Terminator.
You know, a lot of those stories.
Maybe.
Maybe. Of Lear, they nick a piece of Lear here and there.
Right. Exactly. So here I got one that's a little bit more industry oriented as far as questions go. Evan had actually posed this to me earlier, so I'm asking his question. So we have the direct market, which is comic books, more or less what we work in, and then there's also the wider market, right, which deals with bookstores, libraries, and all that stuff. And there's an ongoing debate: why is manga outdoing or outselling, American-made comics? On our own soil, like there's not a single, I think, American-made comic that does as well as any manga. Not a single one. My Hero Academia is killing it. One Piece, Naruto still killing it, and there's a list of other ones. There's just a bunch of them. So there's a question: why do you think this is happening? And what's ironic is I'm starting with Evan, who asked the question initially.
Well, I just thought it to be sort of shocking. I've been visiting a lot of local shops in the Detroit area, promoting silence, and at least the shops I've been going to, rarely will you see a manga title. I mean, I've gone to shops where there's significant indie presence. Of course, you've got the big two. I even went to one shop that no longer orders DC, but
wow.
No manga. So I'm just wondering, where are these individuals consuming these books? Are they strictly online purchases? Are they big box retailers? Where are American comic book publishers missing the boat?
Mm-hmm. I think most of them are big box retailers. Like Barnes and Nobles has a huge section manga. Yeah. I think I don't know how many stores they're down to. I don't know if it's 350 or 650, but there's still a significant amount of stores.
Sure is, yeah.
And then Walmart, Target, they all have manga sections.
Newberry Comics.
Yeah, exactly. So John, what are your thoughts?
I don't know much. I don't read hardly any manga, and I've read it. I've found ones that I've read, but I don't understand the appeal. I do see the racks in, like you said, Barnes and Noble and Newberry Comics and places like that. But I'm not sure if maybe manga's just got mountains of really different ideas as opposed to this event-driven crap that keeps coming out, all over the place with the most visible characters, the most loved characters. It seems strange, and I think there's some kind of movement about jumping on the event thing. I'm not trying to do that, but that's where I got lost interest in a lot of that stuff, and luckily I did, because I just dove right into Dark Horse and IDW and Image and whatever else. I buy almost no big character books anymore. And it's not because I don't like the people working on them. Jason Aaron writes. He's one of my favorite writers. He does a lot of stuff for Marvel. Yeah, I don't know why they don't sell as well. But I mean, it's always been that way. The market. It's always had its roller coaster ride, right?
Yeah, this is true. I mean, well, Joe, you answer the question. I'll go last.
Well, I have a different take on it, only because it comes back to format.
Okay.
When I think of manga, I don't think manga to floppy. I think manga to graphic novel. And because manga is more of a collective story, you have to look at those sales numbers in the same vein as you do with collected volumes of American comics. And because we've seen an upswing with graphic novels and collected comics, nothing to the likes of manga. But if you take a look at floppies to manga, it's like apples and oranges. Instead of getting, it's like instead of getting, one issue for like $4, you're really getting maybe like 20 for like $20, which is a bigger bang for your buck because it's a collected volume. Also, manga is in Japan is considered a throwaway type deal. This is like a coffee table book. Nobody's really trying to collect it per se. So people will pick it up, read it, maybe keep it for a couple of months and just throw it away. It's not like a collector's market or anything like that per se. And because big box stores like your Barnes and Noble, any place that sells magazines, because again, manga also falls up under a category of magazines too, because they do have magazine formatted manga books. So they have greater opportunity to be in big box stores as opposed to the average floppy.
Oh yeah, definitely. For my son, it's like it's such a layered question, right? Because what it is that you have about 1,200. Some people say 1,800, but it's probably closer to 1,200 comic book shops that actually order books from Marvel, DC, so on and so forth, right? Whereas when you talk about the bigger market, you're talking about libraries, you're talking about Walmart, you're talking about all these different stores. So manga could be in like 4, 5, 6, 7,000 different locations, probably more than that. Whereas the comic market is only 1,200, and also the thing is like I got this manga I was reading, right? That's The Promised Neverland.
Right.
Good book. $9.99 on the cover, right? Get it from Amazon is like $7, right? If you have Prime, free shipping, blah blah blah, right? As opposed to getting something like this from Marvel, which is a fantastic book. It's a great book. It's a hardcover, got a slipcase, fantastic art. This one has a good story in it.
About a $35 book.
This is a $50 book.
Yeah.
Right? That's $50.
And you know how it ends.
Right. Always. Like, so, but this is who? Oh yeah, this is one of Jonathan Hickman's books. This is actually a good book.
Oh, Hickman's great. Yeah.
Yeah. This is Jonathan Hickman's Avengers run. So this is a good book. But if you got a kid, right? Because kids are the ones that are fueling this. I would imagine kids from the age of like 11 to maybe their mid-20s. They're the ones fueling this. For the price of one of these, they can get 5 of these.
Or more, depending on where they get it from. Because remember, you got more kids going to anime conventions, right, where they could get like 5 of those for like $20. 5 of those mangas for $20.
Yeah,
than going to a comic book store and getting one of those Hickman books for $50.
Exactly. I mean, I buy these from a discounter, so I tend to get them 50% off, right, but it's still $25.
Yeah.
I get the same discount on these. So it just depends, and that's how I see it. There's a lot more. There are a lot more. This is available in a lot more locations, right, at a cheaper price point. This is available in a limited amount of locations at a much higher price point. So,
the math right there. Yeah,
exactly. And because I don't.
And thanks for that info, Randy. Randy is watching. I didn't realize Barnes and Noble didn't have magazine distribution.
Oh yeah, I'll put that up.
Oh.
Yeah, Cease magazine distribution.
Mm-hmm. I said, okay. I tell everyone that manga sales are Marvel and DC's fault. think about it. The mainstream books are so bad that manga buyers are willing to read their entertainment in reverse to be entertained.
Right. Yeah. And also the other thing is this, is that one of the things, and if you I've seen a couple documentaries, if you talk to the guys who produce manga, the companies, they produce the anime to sell the manga. Okay? So it's not just about selling toys, they're also selling the books. And Marvel and DC, both of them, I mean, I don't know what's wrong with those guys, because they have the largest platforms, the biggest movies, and never once do you ever see in the back of the film or even the beginning of the film, go check these out at your local LCS.
Yeah, right.
Right? I mean, you know, how much easier does it get than that? You know? I mean, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. It's like, boom, go, you know, pick up these comics at wherever. I guarantee you, those store sales would spike. You know, if they got that
Even
type
like
of
before the movie starts and all those like preview things.
Yeah.
They ran a thing in every area with their local comic, you know, their local shops in the area.
Mm-hmm.
That would be huge.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
It should be huge, right?
I recently went to a fantastic Marvel exhibit at the Henry Ford Museum in Dearborn, Michigan. You know, tons of amazing original art, cool displays, costumes, whatnot. And you get to the gift shop at the end, and guess how many comic books there were for sale?
Zero.
And we all knew that. It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, the only place I've seen this stuff displayed, like if you go to, I've been to Disney World, so they have their Disney
Universal
World section of the park. The Star Wars. I'm sorry, section of the park, and you go into their gift shops and they have the Star Wars comics. They have them.
You mean like Walt Disney World and stuff?
Yeah.
There's some of them. Yeah.
They'll have the damn comics in there, and they have stacks of them, and it looks like they sell. So who knows?
Well, they're not giving you a discount on anything there. That's for sure.
No.
You know?
Not at Disney World. No, those guys, they have their business out pat. They know how to book every dime out of you.
Not messing around.
Nope. I live in New York City, and it's expensive, and I go there, and I'm like, it's just as expensive.
Wow.
When I get in my hand. Yeah. The only time it's more expensive is you want something to drink. You know, a bottle of water you can pick up at any store for $1. In there, it's $5 no matter what you do.
Yeah, if that. If you want to.
Is it true a cheeseburger is $25?
What?
A cheeseburger is $25 there.
Where? Disney World?
Yeah.
Depends where you go.
Yeah.
You can pick one up for $10.
Still, that's $10. That's a lot of
money. What does this say? Oh yeah, Universal Studios has Marvel, and they do have a comic shop.
They do. That's right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So,
I haven't been there in years, but yeah.
Yeah, it's been a minute for me too. No, good question. All right, Joe, it's your turn.
Okay, to piggyback off the industry question here, considering the fact that we just got through talking about not being out there as much, why do you think a lot of indie creators do not think outside of the box when it comes to the end of their Kickstarter? Because to me, I see them leaving so much money on the table when they refuse to put their books like on their online store or Etsy store, or getting people to where they could get their hands on the book, as opposed to waiting a couple months to their next Kickstarter for a catch up here.
All right, John, you're next.
That's a tough one. I'm not sure how to answer that. I'm just terrible at this end of the deal. You know, I write the stories and I beg Keith to do the rest of it.
I'm the same way with Patrick.
Yeah, oh man, you know, you put dollar signs in front of me. I'm the last guy you want to put money in front of. How much should we charge for this? I haven't the slightest idea. How do we get rid of the most of them? You know, well, it costs money to make the book, John. Oh yeah, that too. Well, you do it, Keith. You know. I'm sorry. I don't have an answer for that one. Go ahead.
All right. Well, hold on. Let me put this up first. This was from the prior thing. Carla says $9.99 for a hot dog, $9.99 for a burger and fries. Yeah, the season's bad. Yeah.
I'm going in September.
When?
Third week, somewhere in that third week.
Okay. I'm going in the first week.
Oh yeah.
In September, yeah.
Man.
Well, we're going. What's the day that like right after what's that Sunday that the kids all go back to school afterwards?
I'm not sure, but it's different.
There's a holiday,
but yeah, that's when we always go.
What you talking about? Labor Day?
Yeah, we're going right
Labor Day weekend. They normally go back for the very first day of school.
Yeah, I'm hoping all of our lovely children, all of other people's lovely children, go back to school. So I can have parks nice and quiet.
You know what's worse than that are cheerleaders.
Oh yeah, that's true. We missed them. We missed them by a week. We went the week before they showed up. Oof. Yeah, they said that place is an animal house because they do some kind of.
It's insane the stuff you see. And now I guess now they've really cut back on how many of them are allowed to stay there.
Oh, really?
After COVID, they were doing it one way or the other. Anyway, back to the question.
Yeah. This was a whole other animal. Okay, well, and then we have
Pathologian response. Everyone is so used to the current box they can't see their way outside of it, which is very true. That's a very good answer. That is very true.
Mm-hmm.
I would agree, but
answer your question. I missed it. Sorry, Evan. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I would agree with that, but I think you're starting to see a lot of creators take advantage of crowdfunding now, and you're starting to even see some publishers who are working in conjunction with creators to launch Kickstarters in particular. I think SourcePoint Press has done a pretty good job of that. I think they did a book with Dirk Manning, a Tony Schiavone book that's like it did over 120,000 in sales or something.
Wow.
So for me, I mean, my strategy is it's sort of like a tic-tac rise to the top. Like you need to have some published work in order for your customers to know who you are, and it gives you added credibility and sort of build your audience. But then you also realistically need to make some money. So for every book that I'm getting published traditionally, I'm hoping to crowdfund a couple.
All right. Yeah.
But you avoided the question at hand. It's like you had a successful campaign. Why is your audience waiting 2 and 3 months to get their hands on the book that you just successfully funded when you know that you have extras? They have to wait till that next campaign. Why haven't you pointed them to like an Etsy store or Comixology or to your own company website to pick up those books? That's the real answer of the question. It's like I see a lot of creators refusing to do that. It just doesn't make sense to me.
I agree. I think it's a little easier though because Kickstarter and Indiegogo in particular have built-in mechanisms where their email lists and whatnot, and also there are people who are devoted to following the hashtag Kickstarter, hashtag Indiegogo, what have you. So you throw something up there with that hashtag, then it's easier for people to identify you and your project. Yeah.
Well, I know for myself, like I do have I have a store on my website. I have Comixology. We have some books up there, but it's like the process is a pain in the ass because you give it to them 9 months later, like, oh, we finally approved you. Oh, I forgot about you. But,
and then you have to come back and then promote it and say, hey, it's on Comixology on this date. Go and get it. Right. After you get their email.
But the one good thing about Indiegogo is that damn in-demand store. Like I said, I don't do a lot of business on Indiegogo, but every now and again I get a notification from them that say, "Oh, we're sending you $100, or we're sending you $150," and I'm like, "What the hell is that?" Right? And I'm like, "Oh, that's my in-demand store. I gotta go fill somebody's order." Right. So every now and again, and it happens probably like once a month. Once every other month, I'll get that notification. So a campaign that I only raised $300-400 on is now almost $1,000. You know what I mean?
Right. It's a great feature.
But that's the thing. That in-demand store is a feature to keep people there on Indiegogo. Mm-hmm. It's not necessarily there to help people find you as you and your company. that's the real problem, because what if Indiegogo goes belly up?
I got a website.
What's going to happen when in demand goes away?
Yeah, like I said, I got a website with my own store, so the stuff's available there. But like I said, it's good because you just have people that like to just buy from there because they feel that sense of security. They always buy from there, so it's like fine. So they get it.
I mean, that's a great thing. I'm not belittling that. I'm just trying to get people to think a little bit more outside the box, All
right, yeah, but that's what it is, though. It's like, yeah, you're right. People need to like move and get their stuff in other places, but everybody moves at their own pace. You know what I mean? Everybody, I mean, you see how many campaigns I put out right now. I'm just putting out comic books, staples, right? So eventually I'm going to be moving into trade paperbacks. But again, that's a process. I got to go, I'm feeding.
You just got through crowdfunding a trade.
Exactly.
So now I think you probably knowing your play, you probably jump back to a floppy sometimes.
Exactly. The next one is going to be floppies, and then and then I'm doing black and white, and then I'm going to move those same floppies into color, and then so on and so forth. I'm trying. It's like having an orange. You're trying to squeeze as much juice out of it as you can.
It's almost like you cut the orange in half. It's like, okay, you sell the half, and then you take the other half, you squeeze that. Now you got juice to sell. Then you take that remaining part of it, you make zest, and then you sell the zest of it. And then by the time you got like the pulp and everything, you try to make, use it for flavoring like some type of piece of meat, and you sell that piece of meat, and then okay, let's go on to the next project.
Orange flavored water.
Yeah, exactly. Listen,
I'd buy some comic seasoning.
Comic seasoning.
I mean, that's the thing, though, man. I mean, you got like I said, right, it's expensive. I mean, Evan, you're there, right? You pay artists, right? So you know how expensive it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
John, I know you work with your partner, right?
Yeah, but I've got a couple other things in the works with other artists that I'm paying those guys,
right.
So paying is enough to keep you from going online promoting your stuff.
Exactly. And I mean, and the thing is, even if you get like, all right, just to throw a rate out there, right? Let's say it's $50 a page, pen and ink, right? 24-page book, $1,200.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
For some people that's a house payment. For some people
that's 1 month rent.
Right.
Oh,
yeah. Where you're at, in New York, woof. but still, though, it's a decent chunk of change. And then if you want to get the sucker in color, right? You might be talking another $25, $30 a page, right? So let's say $25. So you're looking at what, another $625, right? So you pay.
Not forget the lettering if you don't know how to letter.
Exactly. That's probably another $10 to $15 a page, right?
A couple variant covers.
Variant covers. Right.
And let's say if you had an editor.
Oh yeah, if you want to add an editor, I would always suggest. I don't ever suggest editors. I suggest copy editors. People who are going to proof your work. Make sure your commas are in the right place. Make sure your spelling is correct. Make sure you're using the correct words in the correct way.
I think that's where we differ.
See, if you're new to the game, maybe you need an editor. Okay, but if you've been in the game a while, you probably just need someone to copy edit.
I agree with that.
It just depends. There you go.
Yep, that's about right.
32,
32.
Yep, and he said,
on the cheap side, yeah.
Right.
That's cheap side. That's the cheap side of it.
I was like, oh man, yeah, that's low, man. You're really lucky to get 50, and especially if it's good.
Right.
$50 a page. Woo.
Yeah. Well,
that's usually out of state, out of the country.
Right. I don't work with Americans.
I don't typically either, but nothing against it. I would like to, and I am actually right now. But
well, yeah, I mean, I work with my wife.
She's not American.
Oh, she is American. Yeah, like I said, that's the exception to the rule.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. They usually are.
Yeah, exactly.
The thing is, though, I think we could all probably say we do it for the love, not the money. You know, we would still do it. If, you know, someone posed a question to me the other day, you know, and I've got a brother who's a successful disability attorney. And, you know, if he won $100 million in the lottery, he would probably quit. If I won $100 million, I'd still be making comics every day.
Hell
you know,
I would just be working with Arthur Adams on a daily basis.
That was like, something. You would be out of that money real quick, fast in a hurry. I'll be up here building my empire with that in comics with that 100 million. You would be like, yeah, I got my 40 issue series done. Thank you, Arthur Adams, and then you have to get up and go to work the next day.
No, he's not that. He's expensive. He's not that expensive. Nobody's that expensive. At least I hope not.
Neil Adams, maybe.
Yeah.
Alex Ross.
Yeah, maybe, but even that, if you can break it down, you know, what is it? Alex Ross, I don't know, $10,000 a page, probably. You know.
That doesn't sound like much for us.
But then he had $100 million. You're probably looking at it like, oh, that's jump change.
Right, exactly. You could, you know, $1 million is at 10,000 is what, 100 pages? You know, is that right, or is it 1,000?
Yeah,
pages?
about 100 pages. Yep.
You know, you could afford it at that point. It's not that big. It's imaginary money at this point. So it's like
we're talking lotto talk now.
Exactly. What was it? Oh, yes, and then he wrote Evan. There you go. But yeah, I mean, it's correct. I mean, you know, if I was to have $100 million dropped in my lap, yeah, I would continue. The only thing is you know, and to be honest with you, I would always keep my my long-term artist. I would never ever not work with her. I would just give her like a huge increase in pay and like, you know, and then just keep her on, you know, because I've been with her for like 12 years. You know,
if she ever gets bored of the character, you just raise the rate.
Right. Exactly. Well, that's already happened. So, you know, we've gone from A to like, you know, to a whole nother number, you know. It's like, okay, damn it, you know. But sometimes you got to bite that bullet. You got to do it, you know.
Yeah, you got to start worrying.
Actually, how do you guys deal with that one? You know, as like for you guys who hire artists. So let's say you work with them on a project, and you're like, okay, oh, that went well. You go move on to the next one. They're like, okay, well, I want to bump up and pay. So how do you guys deal with that, Evan?
I mean, I have always treated all my artists extremely well. I think I have a pretty positive reputation for paying well and paying on time. I typically give, you know, project bonuses, or if there's a particular page that's fantastic, you know, a little extra here and there. So, I mean, I have also, I mean, with how many projects I'm working on, I'm also seeking new artists that are a little bit more cost effective, but without diminishing the quality.
Right.
So, you know, I'm keeping ties with everyone, and you always, you know, want to have the best working relationships possible. And, you know, I've been very lucky. I mean, I've gotten to work with some guys who are just first class, you know, artists and very diverse styles. So the biggest thing is, I mean, you really need to manage your money well and manage, you know, the number of projects you're doing, and keep everything within reason.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, definitely. John, have you had this issue?
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, it's a tricky thing, right? With artists, you want to get the best work. And I honestly, I don't really care about the money. You know, I think if you're getting great work, it's worth it, you know? But yeah, you know, when the numbers start going up, and you have, like Evan said, you're supposed to pay attention to those numbers, and I suck at that. That's why I let people do it. But yeah, I think they deserve every, you know, penny. My buddy Antonio, who drew my Martin Chase book, he was great. And then, you know, I sat around waiting for him to come back, but Zenoscope just took, you know, fished him out of the water, and I couldn't compete with the money they were paying. And you know, they're not a super high paying gig, you know, compared to Marvel or DC or any of that crap. So yeah, it's tricky. It's tricky. And he liked drawing, you know, half naked women a lot better than he liked drawing karate guys beating people up. Yeah. So yeah, it's tricky. I don't know. Yeah, I like to pay personally. I like to give them what they want. But at the same time, yeah, you know, what are you going to do at the end if you can't, if the book ends up costing $25 for a floppy? You can't do that.
Right. Yeah. No. So here's one. Arthur Adams is about $40,000 an issue in the heyday. And John Byrne charged $25K for one issue for a single vanity project from a fan. Yeah, I remember that.
Wow.
Yeah, so there you go. I mean, I'm still waiting for like that random billionaire to roll in here and just be like, screw it. I'm gonna hire the best of the best and just, you know, do the best stuff.
Cross gen again?
Right. Yeah. Alessi, yeah, he came real close. You know,
Yeah.
he just, I don't know if you ever heard his story, but he was selling some stock. He had stock was worth $30 million, and he was going to sell it to finance CrossGen. Well, what happened was he was in California. Something happened with the company he was in, and it was some kind of thing, and it murdered the stock. It went from $30 to $3. So he only had $3 million. And so, you know, and he had to make that company survive on what he had done with that $3 million. And he kept it alive for a decent amount of time. You know, if he had the 30 million, he said he could have kept it alive, you know, probably another 4 or 5 years. You know, so
well, you definitely saw the change when it happened. It was quick and drastic. Yeah.
Yeah. You run out of that money. That, you know, what can you do? You know.
Mm-hmm.
I know for Joe. I don't know. How do you do?
Well, that question gets into why I'm in the position where I'm at right now, because it gets to that. How good is the artwork? Did the artwork really sell, or is it the combined effort of the whole team that sells?
Mm-hmm.
And eventually, it's like if you pay them on time and they're doing good work, you try your best to keep them. But eventually, you're going to be like, if it's that much of a drastic pay increase, you could be like, hey, gotta let them go.
Mm-hmm.
Have to. I mean, you don't want to, but you have to. But it comes back down to what Evan said. He's like, you have to look at the numbers, and you also have to look at the rest of the team. Because if you pay that increase for, let's say, for your penciler, guess what? Your inker going to come right back and ask for more money. Your color is going to come back and ask for that money. You know, everybody's going to come back and ask. So,
and you know,
go ahead.
And I think one, you know, when you see one number that may sound exorbitant, you know, maybe you don't consider the return on investment. You know, we retained Michael Golden to do a variant cover for Johnny Phantasm, and you know, he's not cheap. I mean, the guy's a legend, probably one of the best cover artists in history.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it was tough to, you know, swallow that pill. However, I mean, we more than made up for it when we launched that cover, you know, and probably gained, you know, quite a few new fans that we otherwise wouldn't have because of his following.
Nice. That was actually a follow-up I wanted to ask about alternative covers. You know, because I think somebody had asked it last week when I was reading on YouTube. It's like, do you find alternative covers, do they pay for themselves?
Well, I'm about to find out.
No, that's a good question. It's like my experience is mixed. My experience with that is mixed.
What's your experience with it? Because I know you hired. All right, we lost John. He'll probably be back. It sounded like he was having issues with his internet. So go
Something
ahead.
was going on there.
Yeah. So Joe, what were you saying?
I say my experience with alternate covers and the return on investment is mixed.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I have to say it that way is the more well-known the artist, sometimes that return on investment is just not there.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the not so known artists, the return on investment was great.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like really, really great for an alternative cover. So it's kind of like that hit or miss type deal.
Right.
Like for example, my return on investment with the Greg Horn covers.
Right.
That was good because I bought out all the rights, so I could use those images anywhere I choose to. So it's not just relegated to covers. And then there's other well-known artists that I had covers made by where it was just relegated to the covers, and I did not make my money back.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's other people that are lesser known than them, charge me, you know, maybe like $150, $200, and I triple, quadruple, quintuple that money back over already. So
Right.
it's kind of like a mixed bag. You don't know what alternate cover is really going to sell, and when they do, it is a great thing.
Gotcha. Evan, so I mean, how have you found it? Well, I mean, you just mentioned Michael Golden, but I mean, as far as the other ones.
Well, like I said, we've got quite a bit coming up in the near future, so we'll see how things play out. But my strategy was with regard to Silence. Michael Golden is doing a variant of issue 1, and my thoughts there were, his name would bring more people to the table initially and get people hooked on that issue 1 than otherwise would show up. And then with the other 2 variants for issues 2 and 3, I tried to identify sort of high risers, guys who are up and comers. So for issue 2, I've got Brian Silverbacks, who's done stuff for Aftershock, for Image. He has a book called Loggerhead with Scout Comics, fantastic artist. And then Armando Ramirez, whose work is just amazing, who's also doing some stuff for Image right now. So, we'll hopefully, that mix of sort of someone who's experienced with a couple, high risers is a good formula for us.
All right, cool. Hold on, let me put this up. Duke. From Carlos, that's how it worked for our Jason Metcalf variants. It's not exactly cheap, but he generates $2K or more in Kickstarter revenue each time out. So he's worth the return on investment. Plus, he's a good friend for 25 years, so I consider myself lucky. And he says Brian is a good one for sure.
Yeah, he's a good dude too.
Oh, that's cool. I mean, the only one I've done is, this set of covers by Donnie Harijawa and Carlos. I keep messing up his last name, but Carlos is the colorist. He did a fantastic job, and Donnie Harijawa, he did the art. And I'm probably on my way to tripling what I spent on it. So I mean, yeah. So it definitely paid for itself. And like I said, that's important for me because that's just more money I just give back to my artists.
And that makes the argument for the pay increase, to be quite honest.
And I think what you'll see going forward, particularly as certain creators gain a following in crowdfunding, you'll start seeing variant cover artists who maybe want a percentage of the take on the back end, as opposed to maybe a certain upfront fee.
I mean, what's funny is if they're willing to take on the risk, I wouldn't have a problem with that. Like if they waive a flat fee and just want, a cut or maybe a reduced flat fee and take a cut on the back end, but it would all be, for me, it would all be relegated to what that cover does. Because I could do a campaign that raises, I don't know, 4 or 5K, right? Let's say 5K, right? Sell $1,000 of his covers, of that person's covers, right? Which let's say covers whatever, you spent on them, in the flat fee. But, I'm not going to give them a percentage of the entire campaign.
Right. It'll definitely get tricky.
Right, because I'll be selling these pins, right? Because that's going to bring in a certain amount of revenue. I have other books. I have prior issues. I got stuff that you're not involved in. You understand? I got other people to consider. So yeah, that's where it can get real tricky. So I mean, like I said, it's one of those things. If you could figure it out in advance, you say, "Oh, I'll give you 10% of whatever you generate." You know what I mean? So that will work out. But as long as, and then also, it's also on them to push it.
Right.
That's
the thing, though. Then it's in their best interest to promote it.
Right. Yeah. Because I had one artist that I wanted to do a cover for me for Oswald Chronicles, but every single time I saw him do a project, he would talk about the project. He said, "Oh, this is something I'm working on," but he would never push it. He would never promote the project. He would just show you like a page or something from it. "Oh, there's something I'm working on." You never hear about it ever again. But yet, you'll see a Kickstarter come out and, have his stuff, but he'll never, retweet it or, share it out on Facebook, nothing. So I was just like, as much as I like the work, I'm going to have to pass because
for better or worse, it's becoming more and more an important part of the collaboration and who you decide to work with.
Yeah.
You know.
Exactly. All right, so let's move on. Joe,
No,
you got something?
It's my question because I was about to piggyback off of the big name. I mean, in reality, does the bigger name actually help a crowdfunding campaign? Because in my own experience, it really hasn't, unless they're the flavor of the month for that particular month or for that particular year. So that's kind of like one of those, kind of like catch-22s. It's like, will your project with this well-known artist or this big name who has his own following or her own following, are they going to be attracted enough to your campaign just because that person did something? I have seen people, make, mega bucks off of campaigns because of that. And I've seen people who made nada.
Yeah.
And it's just like, does the big name really affect how you approach that campaign? I'm up here like, having it is good. Don't count on it to make your money, to make your goal, to say, hey, I funded in 3 hours because this big name is part of it. Don't expect that.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Like, I mean, I'm gonna answer before Evan because Evan has more people that he's done. He's done more of those, so he has way more experience in it. But for me, I just picked the guy on just talent. I saw the guy's stuff, and I was just like, he's not working at Marvel. He's not working at DC, right? I said, but he's gonna get snatched up, and I gotta get covers for him before he ends up at those places, because once he ends up at those places, the rate's gonna like quadruple. So I was able to get him early, and it worked out. So, Kevin, how about you? I mean, Evan.
For us, I mean, the pandemic was sort of the perfect storm. Michael Golden is used to doing conventions, and I'm assuming earns a good percentage of his income every year from conventions. So with those being stalled, we approached his agent, Renee Witterstatter, who I met at HeroesCon a few years back, and inquired about him doing a cover. And any other year, probably he would be either doing commissions on the convention circuit or doing variants. But as it may be, things were slow, shops were shut down, no conventions. So we were lucky enough, to work with him, and we timed the launch of the variant at the expiration of the first 30 days on Indiegogo. So it's sort of our way of celebrating the success of the first 30 days and something fresh and new for backers and prospective backers. So I mean, it did extremely well for us. I can't say what he was compensated, but we made at least 5 times what we paid him on it.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
definitely nice. Yeah. How you doing, John? I saw you have
Sorry,
problems.
my phone died.
That's all right. We didn't talk too much crap about you. Yeah, we didn't talk too much crap. He said we didn't talk too much crap about you while you were gone.
That's nice. Thank you.
Hold on, let me just put this up. Like JD says, it comes down to how much does the artist want to push the project. So there you go. Joe, you want to restate the question?
Okay, for John's purpose, it's like just before you came on, we was talking about alternate covers and having big names on for your alternate cover to do them, and do you have a good return on investment? And the question that I asked is like, does that big name really help you in the long run when it comes to campaigns? Because I have seen people who ran a campaign that had a big name on like a alternate cover and they didn't do well at all, and then there's others that made 10 times as much more because that person's audience came and backed that project. And it's like the way I'm looking at it is like, does that other person's audience really can you capture that person's audience attention with your project despite the name? Whether or not does that matter in the long run? Because I have seen people who to not hit their goal, even though having a big name there, and the audience just flew right past it. And then there's others, like I have seen one, from a close friend of mine, because that big name artist came back and retweeted it.
Sure.
He made his goal because he was on the verge of failing.
Wow.
Nice. Yeah.
And his audience came back and do it. And then as a thank you for that, he ended up doing like a specialized cover for it. And that got sent out to everybody who backed it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, well, I think the enthusiasm you get from having somebody that you really like do an alternative cover for you is probably a big deal. I know Keith did really well with the Eddie Newell cover he got on Torn. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, it could definitely bite you in the ass, right? But if you can get a guy who's like a Mike Mignolet or whatever, yeah, boom, what an audience, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good luck with that one.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying some big name like that, right? I mean, even like I don't know, Tony Moore or somebody, or even like your regular con guys have followings, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think it definitely could help. But sure, if people don't like them, or the cover's, oh God, what if the cover's terrible?
Right.
So that's a bummer too.
I was more on like, what if the project just doesn't catch his audience interest?
Mm-hmm.
Sure, well, that's always a chance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's true. Look, you could hire, I don't know, the best artist. You can hire someone like Arthur Adams or Neil Adams, or you can hire we were just talking about the painter guy, Alex Ross. You can hire either one of them, right? And your project is about puppies running across America.
That's a good example.
That might not, capture the enthusiasm of a lot of comic book fans. They're like, what? Well, it's
an over expenditure.
Right, exactly. So it just depends. What is it?
I just sent over those two covers. I don't know if you want to show them off to kind of show people what I was talking about.
Pull this up. Hold on. Just share this. I always get goofed on. I take too long doing this stuff. There it is.
Okay, there we go. Okay.
Nice. So who did this cover for you?
So that's Michael Golden.
Oh, okay. And that was one of the trading cards too, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that
card.
card.
Pumpkin patch.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
It was a great cover.
Thank you.
And then we got another one.
And I don't think this has been shown anywhere in public yet. But this next cover is the Michael Golden variant for Silence #1, which will be in previews in July and in shops in September.
Gotcha. Hold on, let me take that out. I'm gonna bring up the other one.
Okay.
Nice.
Oh wow.
It's definitely cool to see his take on something that's horror related. He did some early horror work early in his career, but mainly he's well known for his cover art. On G.I. Joe, the Nom, Batman, and then also his run on Micronauts in the late '70s, early '80s.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Yeah, no, that's incredible. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I would love to like hire some of these guys. It's one of those things where it's like you have to balance that expenditure, Because I mean, I can only imagine what he's costing you, But yeah, but getting back to Mike Mignolet, I think Mike is at a point where if he likes you and your project, maybe he'll do it.
Sure, maybe, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Excites him.
I don't even think it's a thing of money with him. Like I think he's wealthy. Like, you know, like he's had 3 movies.
Right.
I don't think he
4,
needs
right?
money.
No, 3. Yeah, 3.
Yeah, he's got the 3 movies. I don't think he really needs money. You know, it's just a thing of, you know, whatever money he gets, he throws it on his pile and he just moves on. You know, it's just like, oh yeah, there it is. You know, but I think it's more of a, if it's something he enjoys, I think he would probably, like, you know, you could sway him into doing stuff for you. So yeah. All right, I think it's my turn. We're gonna shift gears a little.
Question.
And this is another one from Evan. So this is a cool one. With Marvel leaving Diamond, which indie publisher is posed to become the next multimedia juggernaut? Right. So which independent publisher do we think is going to move in? Hey, hold on, let me put this up. This is from Carlos. Michael Golden is the direct influence of both Arthur Adams and Todd McFarlane. Yeah, this is true. You know, what's funny is talking about Michael Golden, because his style has changed a bit over the years. And, you know, when it was back in the day when I was collecting, you know, when he was doing Micronauts and ROM and all that stuff, to me, he always seemed like a more sophisticated John Byrne.
Yeah.
You know, like his stuff was more, you know, there was more
doing G.I. Joe, Real American Hero.
Right. So, you know, so yeah, that yeah. And then now his style has changed. It's still awesome, but yeah, it's just a little different.
It's great that he's still doing it.
Oh yeah, definitely. So who were we up to? I don't even know. Well, we'll start with John. So which independent publisher do you think is going to become like the next big juggernaut?
Well, I don't know. Is it who's taking over? Like, isn't Discount Comic Book Service and
yeah,
Midtown Comics taking over the DC stuff?
Well, Midtown has already moved out. They gave up on it. They didn't want to. Yeah, really? Yeah. Lunar, that's DCBS. Yeah, they're still handling DC, and Marvel is moving over to Penguin Random House.
Exactly.
Right, that's right. I remember reading that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, that's like a hammer shot to the head with for Diamond. But
oh yeah.
You know, we still have Image, we still have Boom, we still have Dark Horse, we have IDW.
Can they survive on that? Can Diamond survive on that? That's gonna be interesting to see. I used to work for Capital City, and when the whole thing went down, Capital City was #1.
Yeah,
you know, Diamond was way behind Capital City, and then when the whole carpet got pulled out from underneath it, Capital City disappeared quick.
Yeah, but, well then Diamond bought them out in the end, right?
I think so. I think and they ended up doing it, which is bittersweet for a lot of us Capital City guys.
Oh, it's okay. So they cut you a nice check.
Oh no! I mean, we were just workers, but we love to work, you know.
Got you.
Got sent home.
You guys didn't get a nice check. All right. That was just the other guy. Those guys at the top. Okay.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess certainly the Penguin and Penguin Random House, is that who it was? Yeah, certainly they're already kind of a publishing juggernaut. They've coming in last and taken the lead over DCBS. It looks like. Mm-hmm. That's too bad Midtown dropped out. I didn't know that.
Oh yeah. They were like, nah, we're done.
Wow.
You know, and I don't know what they're gonna do because my understanding is they handle Marvel's what is that? Their subscription service.
Oof.
Yeah, that's what Midtown handles, and that's why I think they were willing to pick up DC, but it would probably just drive them crazy, you know, doing it.
I guess it sounded like a great thing to me. I was excited to see what was going to come in that union.
Yeah,
looks like nothing.
Yeah. I was kind of hoping to see another 50 Midtown Comics pop up across the country.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So Image is already benefiting from Marvel and DC's defections, and Boom is next. So there you go.
Yeah, I've read.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. I was gonna say I've read some fantastic Image books recently. Silver Coin is awesome. Geiger is fantastic. And I think for Diamond to survive, they really now have to do something they've never done before. They have to cater to the indies and push them in shops.
Wouldn't that be nice? Yeah.
Yeah.
I just from Image 2 Moons. Have you checked that one out?
That is fantastic. Also,
Oh
yeah, a
my
little
God.
Civil
Brilliant.
War horror. Yeah, great
Yeah,
stuff.
I loved it.
Yeah.
What was it called? Two Moons from Image?
Yeah, Two Moons from Image, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I only buy trades, so
Oh,
I have to wait. From the big publishers, I only buy individual books from indie guys. Yeah, so that's at least, you know, so I get to spread it out. We got, what's this? From our co-host, who's absent, of course.
Who's on a blackjack table right now?
Exactly, yeah. Mr. Unstoppable Comics or so, JD Rosario. Cacao is the next big thing. They spent over $800 million to buy Webtoons and Tapas, and will now be doing DC Digital in Korea, where digital has, or I guess is now, is how comics are consumed.
wow.
All right. Yeah, I mean, you know, that's I look at that as that's like a future, you know, they're investing in the future. You know, that's something that's like 5, 10, 15 years down the line. You know, unfortunately in a period where a lot of us probably won't be involved anymore. We're like, yeah, screw this, we're tired or whatever. You know, or just not here, because that's what I see that being. That's like literally 10, 15 years down the line, especially when it comes down to American comics. But in the other countries, maybe in Korea, you know, and across the world outside of the US, you know, that might take off huge for them, where if everybody starts reading digital. So,
Right.
yeah. Mm-hmm. So who knows? Mr. McPhee.
Yeah, it's like I just had a whole different thought about that. But the company that I would keep my eye on would be Scout.
Mm-hmm.
Scout is just beginning, because they hit the ground running. They hit the ground hard. They made an impact. It's like now they're becoming a name within Diamond. It became a name within most comic book stores, because you think about it, it's like you rarely heard of a Scout book being a comic book store. Now they're there.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of time that they're going to be that next level where they're right there competing with an Image and a Top Cow and a Boom Studio. Not to say that they're not competing now, but you're going to treat them at that same echelon level. And
Right.
not, you know, like not like the new big thing on the block. They're going to be like the new the mainstay as far as most indie publishers are concerned. But that's just my opinion.
I agree. And, you know, if I'm not mistaken, they signed a distribution deal with Lunar also, which is huge. And I think they've had a couple properties already signed to different multimedia deals. They've got a couple people within the company who have indie comic experience, I believe, with Caliber previously. And their books are just getting better and better.
Yeah. No. Yeah, I have to agree. It's either Scout. Boom, I think, is already moving in the right direction. Yeah, I think those are probably the two companies to watch. I mean, I love Dark Horse, but it's probably mostly for the Mignolaverse.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you know, I love BPRD. That's the show that I would hope would make into a show. Hellboy is good, but I think BPRD is really good. You know? Yeah.
Yeah, the last couple of years have been really good for that. I like. Have you guys read anything from TKO?
TKO. Yes, that's the one you can only buy like directly from them.
I guess so. Yeah. I mean, I've seen a few of them here and there in shops, but I don't see like the whole run or the whole line in shops. But Joshua Dysart did one with Alberto Ponticelli. Goodbye Paradise or Goodnight Paradise, something like that. That was really, really good. I read something about the Legend of Dr. Fang. I think they have something like that. And then
that's one of theirs.
Yeah, that was okay. I enjoyed that. And what's that new Axel Alonso universe?
AWA Studios, I think it is.
Yeah, I like that stuff too.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. 7 Deadly Sins. Yeah.
Is it Dr. Fang?
Fang
and Sarah.
Yeah, how is Sarah? I haven't read that one yet.
That was good. It was Garth Ennis, you know.
Yeah, it's Garth. Yeah, there you go.
Grimy killing people.
Yeah.
It's like,
I'm ordering that as soon as I get off the phone with you. But I have seen that in shops, Sarah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, some shops.
Yeah, these I ordered directly from them.
Yeah, I ordered my stuff directly from them.
I thought, and then I know I have at least one or two more. They're probably upstairs somewhere.
That Axel Lon, what did you say it was?
AWA Studios, I believe.
Oh yeah,
They got some really good stuff coming out of there.
They do.
Redemption was pretty cool. I think Resistance was another one.
Resistance, yep.
Yeah, and then there's the company Bad Idea, which I have yet to see a copy of any of their books.
I never even heard of it.
Well, see, that's the problem. It's called Bad Idea because it's a bad idea. Right?
Getting into comics or just this particular company?
This particular company, that's the name of the company, is Bad Idea. Because what they're doing is they're I guess they're kind of being a boutique company.
Okay.
So they're trying to just be available in certain comic shops. Like they picked 100 stores or whatever that they could be in.
Wow.
And they'll kick a store off if they have certain rules. Like you can only sell one copy per customer. You can only release it at a certain time or certain date. And I'm like, the guy who runs it is rich. So he owns a production company. He's the guy who used to run Valiant, right?
Okay.
So he's won a bunch of, I think The Expanse is one of his shows. He's done a number of shows. So the guy has money. So I think he's just doing this as proof of concept for TV and stuff.
Right.
So I don't think the money in this really concerns him. He's like, he set aside $3 or $4 million for this, but he's looking to make tens of millions, on the back end,
Sure.
doing stuff. So
Right. Trying to do the artisan way of getting attention to his book.
Ross Richie is making moves over with Boom. Dinesh over at Bad Idea is ostracizing a lot of shops. And
I was gonna say, if you want to make it hard for me to read your book, that's okay with me. It's up to you.
Right, exactly. And he has writers that I really enjoy: Matt Kint, Jeff Lemire. These are guys whose books I see their names on a book and I just buy them. I can't get these books. It's all right, whatever. Maybe they're
model.
Yeah, it is a very strange business model. It's all right. Joe, man, you're next.
See, now my train of thought is off because I'm still thinking about why is he doing this whole artisan deal and not putting it out there for anybody and everybody to get? It's like, why minimize that? But let's get our minds off of that. That's, like you said, it's a bad idea. The next question that I'm going to pose out here is pretty much just proof of concept here. What is the best way for you to really put out your next character that you want to have in their series, or the next idea that you want to put out as far as a different title? I know for myself, I put together one shots and I have beta readers look it over and everything, and then after getting feedback and stuff, I make my yay or nay based upon that. But I know other people may write a short 4-page story featuring said character that to produce later on, or they do a side story at the back end of one of their main titles. So I'm just putting it out there for you guys. How would you normally go about doing it?
It's interesting. Normally I come up with a concept, usually write a short story, something that's maybe more poetic than anything else. And then I really research artists, who I think would do a great job with a particular story or particular character. But I've actually just been asked recently by Brian Silverbacks to come up with a character for his universe. And it's pretty cool, coming up with something that's almost like, a licensed character for me for the first time. It's crazy where you get influence from. I was actually watching The Sound of Music, of all things. And obviously there are nuns featured. I came up with this pretty cool character called Sister Kate that's going to be featured in a Kickstarter. Kara Prime presents #3 in October. But she is a former nun who ran an orphanage who becomes a demon hunter. And her sidekick is a teddy bear named Cuddles, who doesn't talk, but she thinks he talks. And they go about their adventures hunting demons the Dead East in his world. So it should be a lot of fun, and it is a true collaboration because he retained someone to do sort of character design and turnarounds and mock-ups, and then we're going to give all that along with the bio I wrote to Stefano Cardacelli, who's going to be doing the artwork. So should be a lot of fun. Anxious to see how it turns out.
This sounds really cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, John, you're next.
Proof of concept. Yeah, I kind of follow what Evan just said. I tend to write everything out into like a short story of some kind and shop it around that way. See if anybody's bites. You know, a little list of character names and then a short story. Hope for the best. But if you get some art, that'd be cool too. But I don't usually get more than 2 or 3 character sketches and off we go. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, no, I just asking what you guys do because, like I said, sometimes I actually produce the pages and actually create the story and be like, "Here, read this," read it in its full comic book glory.
Right, not a bad method either.
And other times I just, may jot some notes down and just be like, "Okay, this is what I'm thinking," and bounce it off of people. So I just asking what you guys do. So yeah, that answered the question perfectly.
Also depends on who you're giving it to, right?
Mm.
If it's just an artist or if it's a company or if it's a pro, that might depend on, that might affect how you go forward with that.
Yeah, I know for myself, I'll just, I guess the concept of writing, right? It's 90% thought, 10% actually typing. So I'll go in the tank and I'll think, right? And then when I come out, I'll just write whatever I write, and then I'll just hunt down an artist. So that's usually how I work it. Back in the day, though, when I first started, right, I was getting people out of art and design here in New York City, and then we were all like 18, 19 years old, 17, whatever. And with them, they would just come to me, and they were like, oh, and they would just show me their portfolios or whatever. And then maybe they had a character or something, and then we would sit down and build a concept around that. And that's how a number of the projects I ended up working on back in the day worked out. So yeah, I mean, if you have access to artists, it's kind of easy. They can just come up to you and say, oh, can you do this for this? And, and then you can work something out.
Right.
What is this? Bad Idea is trying to squash the collector's market, but making their books hard to get. Bad idea, exactly. I'd love to get their books, man, but I can't. It's not like I'm going to resell the damn things. Yeah.
Maybe we should come up with a subsidiary called a Good Idea, then we could have the old Animaniac spoof.
Yeah.
Good Idea. We put our comic books at all comic book store. Bad Idea. We limited our comic books only to the select 5.
Right. No, I think it'll probably work out because all they need is one of those books to hit off as a show, and that's it. They'll be, all right, so let's see.
I mean, technically, he got the money to even create like another Spencer's Gifts, and just be like, get it here. And then when the TV series hit, guess what? He gets it. He gets that money doubly over because people are now going into his own shop, and now they also gain the books at that shop.
Mm-hmm. True enough. All right, so here's my next question. It'll probably be the last question of the night. We'll wrap this sucker up. How often do you guys speak to your local LCSs, right? And like what's the general vibe you're getting from them? Like Evan, you just said you visited a store that doesn't have DCs anymore. Like what is it that they're out there, and like what is it that like what's moving, And
I think,
do you see the? Go ahead.
I just think in general, from what I've seen, they're busy, which is a good thing. All of them are busy. I think there's more of an emphasis on indie books at all the places I've been to. You're seeing a big trend, and from what I've seen, towards adding gaming in addition to comics, and particularly some stores have designated areas for role-playing games and whatnot, which I'm not sure if that's helping comic sales or hurting. But I think it's a great time to be an indie creator. aside from just the enjoyment of it, I think on the business side, there's a thirst for new storytelling. Something that's off the beaten path, but also something that's quality. And it's great to sort of read some of the image stuff and see what the watermark is for my work, and see where I stand and things I can do better and things I'm doing well.
All right, cool. John, what do you see?
About the same. I mean, a lot of the shops here in Connecticut, most of them have a gaming aspect to it right away. It seems like a way to get a couple extra bucks for that rent. But I was just in a shop 2 weeks ago that just opened.
Nice.
I know, during the pandemic. The guy's hyper excited and just enthusiastic to do it and doing it for the love of it. So that's a cool way to stumble upon a shop. And he had a lot of old stuff, a lot of the old original, or early 80s, late 70s Dungeons and Dragons stuff in there. Yeah, pretty wild. So I think it's surviving, and I think the people who are excited are moving it.
All right, cool. Joe?
For me, it's getting more and more rare to talk to managers and owners of stores where I'm at. But when I do, it's like the last time I did was when I went over here to First Aid Comics, because he actually I can show this to you. He actually went back out and found the set of Captain America: The Truth, Red, White, and Blue for me and everything. And just talking about it, it's just like talking about just certain things that just being, not just in general, but he's been making his bread and butter however he can. I mean, he does gaming there, he does a whole bunch of stuff, but he also promotes independent. And he's hoping for the pandemic to be over before he can go back to having like comic book signings and all this other stuff and bring more and more people in. But that's one store out of many here in the Chicagoland area. And like I said, it's like one of the bigger ones, one of the bigger chains here. It's like I rarely see managers anymore. At least the managers that I used to know are no longer there. It's like I've seen all these new faces here, new employees. And I'm like, and they don't have any idea who I am. And I'm like, one of the oldest customers that's there. And it doesn't make any sense one way or the other why, they don't train their clientele to recognize who is old, who is new, and, and greet them in certain ways.
That was them just apologizing to
you. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Have them take your picture and put you up on the wall.
And that's the strange thing, because it's like when some of the older people that are there, they know that I actually create books and everything, and they know that I'm a creator and everything, but their newer staff they just oblivious. They're just like, hey, how are you doing? It's like, I'm doing okay. I'll come in, buy my books and everything, and then if the manager, one of the managers are there, or whoever is one of the leads are there, it's like, hey Joe, how's it going? How's that next issue? And then they kind of like, then they do the new people would take that double take. It's like, he's a creator. It's like, yeah. It's like, to me, that's kind of like that disconnect is where I believe most of these comic shops are losing their money at. Knowing who their clientele is, knowing what they like and dislike. I'm not asking them to know everybody that comes through the door, but your mainstays, your people that comes in each and every week, you should have some idea. They come in and be like, hey, have you tried this new thing out? Or have you tried that new thing out? Hey, we got this new game.
True. I mean, the only comic stores I have two. I have Royal Collectibles and I have Midtown Comics. The Royal Collectibles guy is a tiny little store, so if you walk in there, he's gonna recognize you. Then the other store is Midtown Comics, which is a ginormous, right? It's a big ass store. I know most of the original older guys who've been in there, like they're all owners or part owners. Them I know, but you rarely see them on the floor. when you see them, they're stepping out from the office to come out on the floor. They always look half pissed because they got to deal with something, some customer service thing. So it was, they see you, like, hey, how you doing? But hey, how you doing? It says, I always walk up and say, sorry, I know you're dealing with something, and then you break into a conversation. So, but yeah, sometimes it's hard, making that contact with them. I do have, I got another question, and if you, Joe wants, if you got one.
I'll let you go ahead because that was an easy question.
Yeah. Hold on, let me put this up. This is from Carlos. Knowing your clientele is supported local and being plugged in is crucial to sustained success. There you go. This is very true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is an easy one. This is one I'm just interested in. So we've been shut down for what, a year and a half? Locked in?
Yeah, it's been over a year.
About a year and a half, roughly, right? Mm-hmm. So my thing, almost every weekend or every other weekend, I was in a movie theater, right? So I miss going to the movies. So it's opening up soon, right? So I'm looking forward to a few films. What's the films you're looking forward to that are coming up? That you're looking forward to seeing in a theater? So John, let's start with you.
I'm looking forward to the new Bond film.
Okay.
I'm a big James Bond fan, and yeah, I'm looking forward to that. The last Daniel Craig.
Last Daniel Craig movie. Cool. Did they actually sign the other dude? What's his name? The guy who played. Who?
I don't think they've signed anybody, but.
Oh, okay. Because I thought they were saying they were going to sign the guy who played Mad Max.
Yeah. He's high on the list.
Yeah.
I go for that.
Yeah. I think he would probably make a good one. All right, Joe, what are you looking forward to?
Normally, I don't do movie theaters, but if I had to pick the next one, it would be Guardians 3.
Okay, cool.
He's been bugged. He got fly in the room, listening in. Government spies all over the place.
What's up, Luke? So, Evan, is there anything you're looking forward to?
It's funny. We've been talking, indie mostly, but I was impressed with the Venom Carnage trailer. I'll definitely be checking that out. And I thought it was nice that they made a point to say that we'll be only in theaters for a certain amount of time before being released to, HBO Max, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool. I didn't even know that. I didn't know that part. Yeah, I'm looking forward to. All right, here we go. Carlos. He's also looking forward to Guardians 3. I'm actually looking forward to Dune.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because that director is an incredible director. He has a great staff, and I've read the original books, love the books. And then there's the movie, which some people like to pick on, but I really enjoy that movie. So.
Really?
Yeah, man. I love
the original movie. The original movie is kind of a cult classic.
Yeah. I do like the books a lot more.
It took some departure from the actual novel, but
oh yeah,
it's something to watch.
Joe and I think alike on a lot of subjects. I need to get to know this guy better. Right, there you go. All right, Luke says Guardians 3 is about the only one I'm looking forward to. All right, cool. I'm looking forward to Thor. What is that? Blood and Thunder or whatever. What is it called?
Love and Thunder.
Love and Thunder. There you go. I'm looking forward to that. I think what is it? Taika Waititi, the director.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he's actually a very good director, not just for superhero movies.
He's got a unique voice.
Yeah. Definitely a unique voice.
Now I do have to say this: I was not too impressed with the new Mortal Kombat movie. It was good for what it was, but it wasn't, to me, a Mortal Kombat movie.
I don't know. I mean, people died. It's like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, we had a few. What do they call the moves? Like Final Death or whatever it is.
Oh,
fatalities and
fatality. There you go. You had a couple of those.
You had a good. They mimic a lot of the ones from the actual video games too, and it's just like it was there, but the story had nothing to do with the mythos of Mortal Kombat. It was just something that was brand new. And you have to come in there, saying, don't remember anything about Mortal Kombat, come in and just think about that. And one of the key things that people complained about is like, how can you have Mortal Kombat if there was no tournament? Right. It's like, but this is not that Mortal Kombat. They're pretty much rebooting this franchise from this movie, and it made sense, but it was like it didn't feel like Mortal Kombat.
Look, I looked at it like this. I was able to have my dinner, watch this movie, right? Scroll through Facebook, and still never miss a thing.
Yeah,
that's the type of movie it is.
It was a perfect popcorn munching movie, and you'd be happy at the end. And it's like, it's like, was this really a Mortal Kombat movie? It's like,
right. It's like
it was what it was.
Right, it's like Godzilla versus King Kong, right?
I still gotta watch that.
You haven't seen it? Oh wow. Okay.
I still gotta watch that. That's next on my list. I'm trying to track it down now.
Yeah. Well, they pulled it off HBO Max. It'll probably be back in another 30 days or so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because they run it for the initial 30, then they take it off for like a couple months or whatever, and they put it back. Like Wonder Woman 84
yeah.
is back on. So yeah. You know, like Wonder Woman? I mean, it was a terrible movie. Have you seen it, Evan?
No.
No, you're one of the lucky ones.
Yeah, you're one of the lucky ones. And people know how much of a Wonder Woman fan I am, and I'm up here like, okay, if I take the movie for what it was, the movie had problems. It wasn't that bad. But when I think about it being a Wonder Woman movie, and especially after what we got from that first movie, people were lost at the very first mall scene.
Right.
People were checking out at that point. They were done. It made no sense.
Yeah. Luke liked the Mortal Kombat movie. So gore fighting, love it. There you go. That's all you needed.
Yeah, but you can't have a Mortal Kombat movie without that. But there was just no Mortal Kombat lore up there. It was just a reboot of that franchise, and you have to treat it as a brand new story. With the lead character never being a part of Mortal Kombat lore in the first place.
All right,
no, that's a drag.
I don't know. I thought for what it was,
it was good. Don't get me wrong. It was a good popcorn munching movie. I can't say that it was a bad movie. It just, to me, it's not a Mortal Kombat.
So here's a question. I don't know how many of you have seen this. So have any of you seen the Snyder cut of the Justice League?
Yeah.
Yes.
Evan?
No.
Well, for me, I thought it was a better movie than the original.
Oh yeah.
I actually enjoyed it.
And me too.
Yeah.
It was apples and oranges, and that's the way I look at it.
Right. Yeah, you definitely look at it. Says Luke says I loved Wonder Woman TV show. The movie had that campy feeling.
No. The TV show was light years better than 84.
Well, only because of Linda Carter, man. I mean, although Gal Gadot, I could stare at her all day.
She's great in the role.
No, that's not the problem. That wasn't the problem. It was other stuff. But you can tell that the Warner Brothers bean counters had their hands in the making of this film.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, obviously.
It's like it's just parts of it that people were just seeing that it was cringeworthy and whatnot. And the one other concept that is that people put in nowadays that really doesn't fit for this movie, but I get their point.
Luke, I said my dad
simped over Linda Carter.
I think everybody's dad simped over Linda Carter. So
Hey Luke, tell your dad to watch the movie Sky High.
Oh, there you go.
If you ever heard of that movie, then that's another Linda Carter flick where she's superhuman.
There you go. So Joe, you got another question?
Not off the top of my head. I thought you was going to ask the last question here. But I guess the movie question was your last question.
Here's one.
Okay.
So this kind of goes back to the very beginning of the show.
Okay.
What is it? Like what Kickstarter or IGG campaign that you've supported that you're most looking forward to getting? Like what's that one campaign you're like, damn it, when is that gonna come in? We'll start with you, Joe. What was this?
See, you about to make me upset. There's certain campaigns that I have not received, and I don't like putting people on blast.
No.
There's one Kickstarter campaign that was for called the Naki. And that was for like first it was supposed to be in a graphic novel format of the first 6 issues.
Right.
I backed it. Okay.
Before you go any further, I'm not asking you to put anybody on blast. I'm just saying, what's the book you're looking forward to getting?
No, that's what I'm telling you. It's that
I know,
book.
but you don't have to
book,
pick another book.
It's that book, but it's like I know what was going on behind the scenes, and I still haven't received my book, and I'm up there like, dude, it's going almost 2 years.
Right.
It's not like he hasn't been transparent. It's just like it's 2 years.
Gotcha.
And then you're up here. I'm seeing, campaign after campaign after campaign for the same 6 books. I'm like, and you showing other people getting fulfilled, and I'm up here like, where is my book? I've been waiting the longest. Where's my book?
Gotcha. All right, so maybe it deserves to be put on blast. So Evan, what are you looking forward to?
Oh, I backed.
I didn't give the name of the individual. I did not give the name of the individual. I just gave the name of the book.
All right, look at this. He's waiting on Toto. Soon. We're gonna get those packages out within the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, don't hate on Mr. Calderon. Mr. Calderon and Miss Lay do get their stuff out there on time.
Well, we'll get them out. I don't know about that.
Yeah, that's what I said. I can vouch for you guys because I got my Oswald stuff. I got my Eco Raven stuff. I know I got another set of Eco Raven stuff coming through too. So
it's coming.
Call them out. Call them all out. JD, you try to get me in trouble. You're go enjoy your wife's birthday. Let me be me.
There you go. So Evan, what is there anything you're looking forward to that's out there in the wind?
Yeah, I backed Ultra Star the first day, so I'm definitely excited to receive that. But also, mentioning projects that maybe were behind a little bit. I'd actually look up the name of this title to see what it was, but I know I loved the artwork when I saw it. It's called Chase the Moon, and the artist is fantastic, Drew Moss, but it is taken forever to complete, and it's one of those deals where it's almost awkward to read, the updates with different reasons why, like this wasn't done or that wasn't done, and I think that one's going on a couple years now.
Wow, is that an art book or a comic book?
Comic book.
Okay, yeah, because I have had a couple of art books where I've waited like 4 years on.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean the guy finally, he finally released it. And you're like, oh, okay, well, all right, whatever. But I mean it happens.
That reminds me of the cup. Oh, the how to digitally paint and color book. That's another book that is over a year old. But again, I received the update. They're in fulfillment. Still haven't received mine yet. But again, with everything with pandemic and that one being an overseas book.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I have to be patient. As opposed, well, both of these are overseas books, so no wonder.
And real quick, I mean that just goes, for the creators out there who are considering crowdfunding. There's the danger is you don't want to ruin your brand or your image, or God forbid, publishers are watching this. The art can be as fantastic, as it can be, but still, if you're not going to get your books, I mean, it leaves a bad taste in the consumer's mouth. You have to fulfill at some point.
So Mr. Fleming, he's up at 2:30 a.m. He's in Britain, so yeah, it's It's late out there.
Mm.
Yep.
got
and
Pops,
then
hey,
Pops.
Steve is in your yard, Glenn.
That's an inside joke, but that's an ongoing joke dealing with Pops and Glenn.
Gotcha. Honestly, my Kickstarter was late, but COVID didn't help. But it eventually got fulfilled. The latest one we're ahead of schedule, so that's better the place to be in, of course. Yeah.
Exactly.
Mhm. All right, John, you got anything you're looking forward to that's coming up?
Yeah, well, along the lines of what everybody else was talking about, I've been waiting on the Aztec Ace Collected
Oh,
for a
okay.
long time.
Mhm.
They did send out the PDFs,
Okay.
so I think it's a printing overseas pandemic thing. So
Mhm.
hopefully we'll get the book. But the other thing, yeah, I just backed. I just got Mark Schultz book
Oh yeah.
that they kickstarted, and now I'm looking forward to that Liam Sharp and that Lovecraft PI. I'm sure there's others too. I just need to, pay attention more to my Kickstarter thing and get in there and actually fund a few more.
Yeah.
I think Jonathan Hedrick has a book out now too called Quicksand that I want to take a look at. That's on Kickstarter.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at something called Glow, which is on Kickstarter. And this book looks really nice, and that's probably the only reason I picked it up. I just hope it reads well.
Oh, you're making me remind me of all the books that I have waiting for, like Ted Sakura's Bloom.
Okay.
But that's a couple of months from now because he just got through. They just got through out of their campaign. I'm looking forward to that one as well.
All right, I'm gonna.
And like one of his interviews made me very, very interested in that book.
Cool. All right. Hold on, I'm gonna share out this one. This is Apex. This is from Kenny Aiken. He's been on the show a couple times, so you know. So there's another 41 hours. He's almost at 4K.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping he makes it another stretch goal. But yeah, this is a pretty cool book. It's about like a cybernetic owl. And then everyone who backs, well, no, I think this first 75 back, he might already be out of this. The first 75 backers got this coin, which was actually pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then he did, let me show you these. If I keep going. He did this. He had like a little limited edition action figure. Like he only has 5 of these that he made.
Okay.
Yeah. And this is by Damien Waldron. I'm messing up his name. Sorry, Damien. He's been on the show a couple times too. And he did the sculpt for him. Then another friend of his did the paints. But Damien did the card. But Damien did the card for him, which I thought was kind of cool. So
yeah, that's sharp.
Yeah. All right, hold on. Yeah. So so I mean that's another one. There's plenty. Like I said, that other book Glow, which I think looks good. Hold on, let me pull this one up. There should be a way you just hit the damn button.
Yeah, exactly.
There we go. And this is another book. I just like the art on it. Just look really funky.
Oh,
like anime-esque.
Right. That was the first thing that I saw was like, oh, manga anime.
Yeah.
Yay, they did something that I love when I see in previews. I like lettered pages where I can get an idea of the story.
Oh, gotcha. It's funny. That's the last thing I do on my pages. I'm like, do I put up the lettered ones or just the blanks? I always put them a blank. I like they can read the damn book when they get it. Yeah.
You lucky we're good friends because I'll be like, I don't know about this.
I know.
Oh, but that's nice. The hardback and with the leather kind of binding on the side there. That's nice.
I think this is a limited edition one.
Okay.
Wow.
I mean, but he raised a lot. He raised, I think his goal was like 25K or something. So.
Yeah, with that.
Where's he at? 40?
Yeah, 3 days left, 55,000.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
there it is. Yeah.
Yeah. His initial goal was 18K, so
Wow.
he's good.
Hell yeah.
He's gonna be
Nice.
okay. Yeah. All right. So yeah. So that's cool. So, gentlemen, you got anything else you want to talk about real quick? Anybody got any questions before we
Nope,
go?
just dinner.
Other than trying to find a battery for the Wonder Woman clock back there, with outside of that. That plus I have a article to finish writing.
All right, hold on. I got a few. We'll run through a few questions here. Well, not questions.
Yeah, comments.
Comments. Weston coming out. Okay, Richard Ambry. All right, I got to check that out. I ran a Kickstarter that was 3 months late. I felt so guilty. I offered refunds to anyone that wanted, and sent black and white copies in print of the next book for free. Nice. So Jay, you could just send me a check. All right, for for the $8,000 that I backed that campaign for. Thanks. Evening, Luke. Never met John before, but he looks looks like my kind of dude. All right. Don't forget, talking Kickstarters, that the new Remarkables #1 launches June 3rd. Shameless plug. Nah, it's all good.
Yep.
Glenn, you can't go. I'm wide awake. All right, Glenn, we're about to go. All right. So, Joe, please let everybody know where they can find you and your work.
Okay, you can find me on Facebook here. You can find all of our comics on cgcstudios.com. That'll be the best place if you want to buy all of our books in print. You can also find us on Comixology as well. My next episode of From the Desk of the Small Press Publisher will be next Saturday at 9 o'clock Central, 10 o'clock Eastern. And like I stated before, I still have an article to finish writing. That way, a certain person who is wide awake might have something to read later on. But outside of that, that's where you can normally find me. You find me on Facebook or Instagram, or on, in the rare occasion, DeviantArt up under Silverboat 14.
Cool. Evan?
You can find me on Twitter, Facebook. You can find the Time Grunts series on Amazon. You can find Silence in the upcoming issue of Previews in July. And you will find the next adventure of Johnny Phantasm on Indiegogo in the coming weeks.
Cool. John, where can I find you?
Guildworks Publications on Facebook, and GW Pub on Instagram, and Guildwork Publications, the site, the website.
All right, cool. Well, for me, it's JD Calderon on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, DeviantArt. So there you go. And you can also find my work on theoswaldchronicles.com and talltalesonline.com. So there it is. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. It was a small crew tonight, but it was cool because we got everybody involved, and then I think it worked out.
Yeah, it was fun.
Should be here next week, hopefully.
Well, yeah.
But you're not missing him.
That guy. Oh. All right. Good night, Luke. Thank you.
Good night, Luke.
Good night, guys. Take care.
All right, have a good night, guys. Take care.
All right.